to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing how to make vegan breakfast tacos. These tacos are filled with a tofu scramble that has roasted nopales or cactus petals in it, and it is delicious. It's been forever since I've made these vegan breakfast tacos. I first made these tacos when I lived in Mexico City, which seems like forever ago. Time goes by just so fast, and I shared the recipe on my blog many years ago, and I decided to make them again because I found some nopales at my local Mexican grocery store, and I'm like, oh, that reminds me of those tacos that I made years ago. They were so good. And it's a basic vegan taco that you would have for breakfast that has the tofu scramble. It has seasonings in the tofu, chili powder, cumin, Mexican oregano, and then it has a little bit of nutritional yeast to give it that cheesy flavor. But the star of the tofu scramble and the tacos is definitely the nopales. You can find nopales at some grocery stores, definitely your Mexican grocery store if you have one near you. And I've seen it at some of my local supermarkets, but not all. But if you find them, I definitely pick some up. Don't be intimidated by them, especially if they're the cactus petals that still have the spines that you have to remove. It just takes some time. You just want to be careful removing the spines from the petals. But if you're lucky enough, you can find them sometimes cleaned, pre-cut, and they're ready to go. And so that's what I am using today. It's such a time saver. It makes things so much easier. And nopales are so good for you. They're full of nutrition, vitamins, and so I love adding them to recipes. And I even have on my blog a smoothie recipe that uses nopales. I will link that down below as well. It's super good. It's really fresh and light, and it would be so good with these tacos. So the tacos are going to start by roasting the nopales in the oven, and then you're going to start making your tofu scramble just like any other tofu scramble, and then it all gets assembled together. And then I like to serve it with avocado slices, lime juice, and then you can serve with your favorite salsa too. So let's go ahead and get started and make these vegan breakfast tacos. To start our vegan breakfast tacos, I have some diced and clean nopales, which are cactus petals if you're not familiar. They're very popular in Mexican cooking, and I love adding them to my tofu scramble in my breakfast tacos. I think the nopales are a really great addition to tacos, and I found these pre-cleaned and cut nopales at my local Mexican grocery store. But if you can't find them pre-cut and cleaned like this, you can buy the cactus petal, and then you just have to carefully remove the spine and cut the nopales yourself. Just be very careful in doing that. It can be a pain, so if you can find the nopales pre-clean and diced like this, this is the way to go. It is such a time saver, and it makes breakfast come together so much easier. And I love making these on the weekend or during the week. They're just so good. So I like to cook my nopales first before adding them to my tofu scramble, and I like to roast them in the oven. I think this is a great way to cook nopales because sometimes they can get a little slimy, and some people just aren't a fan of the texture, like if you just boil the nopales in water on the stove. So I think roasting is the way to go. So that's what I'm going to do now. I am just going to add my clean and diced nopales to a baking sheet, add a little bit of olive oil, and roast them at 375 degrees Fahrenheit in the oven until they are nice and tender. I have my baking sheet that I just lined with parchment paper, and I'm going to just use a little olive oil. I like to use about half a tablespoon. We don't need too much. Now I'm going to add our diced nopales. And nopales are really good for you too, so you can feel good about eating your breakfast tacos. I'm just going to give this dice some stir. So now I'm just going to go ahead and bake our nopales in the oven, and then I will get started on the tofu scramble. While the nopales roast in the oven, I am going to go ahead and combine all our spices for the tofu scramble in a bowl. I'm going to add some chili powder, then I'm going to add some cumin, And then some Mexican oregano. And then with the Mexican oregano, I like to add it to my palm and then crush it with my fingertips to release all the aroma, flavors. And then I'm going to add some sea salt. And then black pepper. Lastly, some smoked paprika. And then I'm just going to give this all a stir. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of water. And this is going to create a really nice spice blend that the tofu will absorb. Just give it another stir. It smells so good, the combination of spices. Now it is time to start the tofu scramble portion of our taco. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to add about 1/4 of a white onion that I have diced. And I'm going to saute that for about 5 minutes. Now I'm going to add about 2 cloves of garlic that I have minced. You see my garlic dice. Now it's time to add our tofu. I have a block of extra from tofu that I have pressed and drained. So I'm just kind of going to crumble it into the pan. Alright. And I like to cook the tofu for about 10 minutes until it starts to get nice and brown. Tofu is browning nicely. And whenever you're making tofu scramble, you want to make sure that you really press the tofu and get out as much moisture as possible. This is going to create a really nice texture for the tofu. I think this just needs to go for just a few more minutes, and then we're going to add our spice blend that we mixed up a little bit ago. Now I'm going to go ahead and pour in our spice blend, just making sure to get it all in there. Okay, now I'm just going to give this all a mix. I just like to let the tofu cook for about another 5 minutes after I've added the spice blend, just so the tofu can absorb all those wonderful spices and it'll be very flavorful. Now I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. This is going to give us a little bit of nice cheesy flavor to our scramble. And our taco filling is almost done. And if your scramble looks a little dry, just go ahead and add in a little splash of water. Okay, I've turned off the heat. Now I'm going to add in chopped cilantro. And then I'm going to add in our nopales that have roasted in the oven. Just add all of them in. Now it's time to assemble our vegan breakfast tacos. I heated up some corn tortillas, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill my tortillas. our tofu scramble with nopales. It smells so good. And you can definitely make this tofu scramble ahead of time and just reheat it in the morning. Alright, that looks good. And now I'm going to top mine with some avocado slices and some fresh lime juice. Okay, so I've sliced my avocado. So I'm just going to scoop the slices into the taco. And then give it a good squeeze of lime. And our breakfast tacos are done. Looks so good. Just love the combination of the nopales with the tofu, and then you get the creaminess of the avocado. So good. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make vegan breakfast tacos with a vegan tofu scramble with nopales. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're inspired to make this recipe or pick up some nopales or cactus petals if you see them at your local supermarket and give them a try. They are so good. I love them so much, and it makes me miss living in Mexico, and I haven't been back in forever, so definitely need to plan a trip soon. And so yeah, I'm really excited to have made these vegan breakfast tacos again, and I will put the link to the full recipe with the amounts and everything in the description box below. As always, thanks for watching. Bye!